Hey everyone, welcome back to the Magnetic Goddess podcast. I'm your host, Amy Lee Westervelt. So excited for my guest today. This gal, we've kind of been in and out of each other's circles for a while. Like we kind of dabbled in the same things and we work with some of the same clients, and she's just a total rock star. I have Ashley Bendler here. She's a business expansion and money mindset mentor, say that 5 times fast, for women in network marketing, which, as we will discuss when I welcome her in a moment, is something that women in network marketing absolutely need help with mindset and money management. So that being said, welcome Ashley to the show. So glad to have you.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. I've been super excited ever since you reached out to me to do this podcast. So I'm excited to get into it.
I know. And it's so awesome that you're here for this new iteration, this new evolution of Magnetic Goddess, and talking about this idea of like women who are tapping into their feminine essence and the magnetism and the way that they can attract their dream lives and experiences through this magnetism. So let's just get right into it. How does somebody become a business expansion and money mindset mentor for women in network marketing? Like, where did you even get the idea to create this business, or like, what's the inspiration behind that?
So I have been in the industry, different companies for about 6 years now. I've been with my current company for 4.5 years. So I definitely found my sweet spot for things, I guess you could say. And one thing that I have noticed with working with a ton of women and a lot of feminine energy is that a lot of women don't have the mindset or the belief in themselves or the self-confidence in order to expand their business to a next level. There's always that lack in a bigger vision. So ever since I started my journey with my current company that I'm with, I focused on a different style of leading and coaching. And one of the things that I did early on was I invested in a leadership mentor, somebody who wasn't involved with direct sales, somebody who wasn't involved with the network marketing. They did have background in it, so they did know and they were a leader and things, but they had a different approach to leadership and how to develop leaders and how to coach leaders. So the more that I was a part of different masterminds and the more that I was a part of different spaces with women who were really working on that personal development and that energy management, I realized that it was a missing piece in the network marketing world. And I wanted to bring more of that into my team culture and into my business. So that's kind of where it started expanding from. Was I knew that this approach was needed in the network marketing world. So I built the table and brought it.
I love that. I love that so much. And it's so true. It really is so needed because, it's funny. Network marketing companies do a really great job of hyping things up from the beginning. They get the loud music, they get you excited, they do the conventions, and then you go home and you're like, okay, but like none of that followed me home. And so you kind of have to build your own support system, your own energetic kind of mindset battery, if you will, in this business, because, obviously there's a lot of no's, there's a lot of what's the word? I'm like, turnover, right? Because you've got some people who are like, yes, I'm all in, and you pour your heart and soul into them. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I don't, I can't really do this. And what I think is really interesting, and this is not at all how I thought this was going to go, but here we are, is that there's a lot of communication, immature communication in network marketing. For example, if somebody doesn't want to sell their business anymore, their company anymore, it's not as simple as, hey, you know what? I decided I don't want to do this. It's like they ghost you, or they don't answer your messages, or it gets, like shady. Like there's a lot, because the entry point to network marketing is so broad. You can pretty much have a heartbeat, pay the money and be in. I think that a lot of times people tend to contend with this idea that you don't necessarily have to have a certain skill set in order to be in network marketing, right? And so when you're a leader and you've got these people that were gung-ho and like, yes, I'm going to do this, the sky's the limit, you pour your heart and soul into them. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, no, I decided not to. Like, well, were you going to tell me that 2 weeks ago when I've been investing all this time with you? So I think we have a lot of women in leadership who listen to this podcast. And so I guess my question to you is, how do you maintain, and you know, like for your clients, for you, how do you maintain your concrete mindset, right? When what you're doing and your success is in some ways dependent on the mindset of others.
I think the thing that really keeps me going is and keeps me in this energetic space. I'm a Reiki master as well. I don't know if you know that as well. So I've worked a lot with energy management, nervous system regulation. So I've definitely taken a different approach to leadership and how I lead things. But for me, I watch how other people's lack of belief in themselves, their lack of mindset. I look at the person who I was, 5, 6 years ago in another network marketing company where I didn't have a good experience at all. And I always continuously go back to who that person was. I didn't have confidence. I had the most negative mindset in the world. And I remember when a leader came to me and was like, well, you need to personally develop. And I was like, no, I don't. I don't need that. I was very in that lack mindset. So I go back to that person I was 5 or 6 years ago. And then I look and see the growth, the expansion that I've had and how it has played a huge role in my expansion, in my success, in getting through the ebbs and flows of business, right? The ups and the downs, the highs and the lows. It's a roller coaster. And I look at that and I say, the one thing that has kept me on track and kept me going and kept me expanding and moving forward was developing the mindset, having the energetic standards that I do, and just keep striving for more and rising higher. One of the biggest parts of my brand is how can I help other people rise higher? And it starts with mindset. I can give people all the strategy in the world. I can coach on all the strategies. I can coach on all the things, but if you don't have the mindset, if you don't have the belief in yourself or the belief in what you're doing, you're not going to move forward with the strategy. So I always go back to that person that I was years ago. And I remember that the one thing that moved me forward was the mindset piece, the belief in myself. And that comes down to how I felt about money as well. And that's where the money mindset piece comes in too, because I had a very negative mindset around money. I had no money. So I had a lot of envy towards people and jealousy towards people who did have money, who could afford nice things. So I really worked on developing a strong money mindset, and it completely turned my life 360 and has improved it for the better.
So, what do you see are generally the biggest pitfalls for women in network marketing and their money mindset? Like, what are some things that you see consistently that women, or even out of network marketing, if you have clients that aren't there, that you see consistent blocks around?
A big block is a poverty mindset or where they are in their current circumstances with money. And I relate to that so much because when I was starting my business, I don't encourage this for anybody, but it's my story, it's part of my truth, but I started my business from a negative bank account. Literally, we had no money. And I was like, I see the vision. I see a bigger vision. If nothing changes, nothing changes. I'm going to just go for it. And I have taken that and turned it into a multiple six-figure a year business. So when it comes to money mindset, a lot of people make decisions from their current circumstances, not from a place of their higher self or where they see themselves going. So one of the things I always encourage people to do is you have to have a bigger vision. Like when you close your eyes and when you see yourself a year from now, 2 years from now, because I try to get people in the energy of playing the long game. And that's one of the things that I've noticed with a lot of people who get into business, especially network marketing, because like you said, anybody can join. You don't have to have a skill set. You don't have to have you don't have to really have much of anything and you can just join. However, if you don't have the mindset and the room for growth, and if you're not coachable and you're not ready to actually develop a skill set, you're not going to succeed. So that was something for me that I see all the time is like you have to make that decision from a place of where you see yourself going, not from your current circumstances. And you have to be all in and play the long game. You can't go into it with the mindset of, you know what, I'm just going to dabble, dip my toes in, kind of see how it is for a week or two or a month or two. And we see it all the time in the industry. And then I'll determine if it's something for me or not. And a lot of times people go into it with that mindset. And you really have to go into it with a different mindset of playing the long game of like, you know what? I'm going to be dedicated to this. I'm going to give it my all. I'm going to learn. I'm going to be coachable. I'm going to work to develop the skill set. I'm going to bust my butt and like hustle. I know there's this anti-hustle culture, but there is a hustle to building any business. You have to be dedicated and you have to play the long game, and you have to be all in. Your first year in business is learning and growing and developing a skill set and being coachable. And a lot of people don't look at it that way. And I think if more people did, and if more people were open to playing the long game and having that bigger vision and the belief in that bigger vision, it would go so different for so many different people.
Yeah, it's so interesting, as a generator in human design, the thing I always loved about network marketing is like you can work it until you're done working it. Like there is no end. You could just keep going, right? And what I found in my experience, for those of you who don't know, I was in a network marketing company. I was in the top 1% of a network marketing company, made multi-million dollars. And what I did was I actually built my business without cold messaging and without ever recruiting anyone. My secret sauce, I guess, was attraction marketing. I didn't know that at the time. But what I found was that when I did want to work, when I did want to sell the product, which was a big part of what we had to do, in order to make our ranks and all those things, there was no end to how much I could do that. I could do it as much as I wanted or as little as I wanted. And so I think that when it comes to network marketing, that's one of the beautiful things is there's no cap. Like the sky is truly the limit. I mean, the sky isn't even the limit, right? And so we have this opportunity to bite off as much as we can chew. And I think that a lot of people, they're very enticed by that idea. But I think what ends up happening, and correct me if I'm wrong, especially in the net, because when I started coaching, once I left my network marketing, 90% of my people came from my company, right? So I did coach a lot of network marketing people. And I found that women especially are so dissociated from what they truly desire. And the network marketing company is all too happy to slide in with what they think you want based on what the owners want or what other people want. And so what you do is you start hitching your star to this wagon of these are the things I'm trying to create. And they're not necessarily what you actually desire. So you're creating this drive toward, like I was making fun of one of my friends is in a company that does food. And I was like, you're trying to get the golden mushroom, but like, what does the golden mushroom mean to you? And so for me, I remember the owner of our company took us to the outlets in Palm Springs. And she's like, look, Yves Saint Laurent and Chanel. And I'm like, this is not like, take me to like the beach and like get me like a, pina colada or something. I mean, granted, they didn't drink, but whatever. But my point is, their value system and what they desired was completely different than what I desired. And so, correct me if I'm wrong again, but like, I feel like part of the mindset issue is that these women are driving towards something that doesn't really light them up. The thing that they're getting at the end isn't the thing that they truly desire. If they were to suddenly tap into what they want, the new boat or the new, the second home, or being able to put their kids in private school, like those are the things that if they recognize that was what they were driving toward, they would have such different results and they would be motivated in such a different way. Do you agree with that?
So it's funny that you mentioned that, because that is one of the things that I pride myself in within how I lead and how I show up differently is I always tell everyone that my goal and my desire and my passion is to help lead you back home to you, lead you back home to who you are at your core. What do you want? Because your wants and needs are going to look so different from my wants and needs. So I always use this example in my trainings and when I talk to people. I'm not the person who dreams of mansions and Maseratis, right? Like I really want I want us to live a beautiful, comfortable life. I want us to be able to have more vacations and adventures and just make more memories and be with each other more with family. That maybe somebody else has the dreams of mansions and Maseratis. My job and my passion is to help meet you where you're at and develop you to rise higher to what your needs and your desires are. Because not everybody's needs and desires are the same thing. And what a beautiful thing is that when we have these conversations and when we open up these conversations too with other people and look at people as individuals and not just as a group of people who are just going towards one thing, we help people rise even more. So I love that you brought that up because my intention has always been, how can I lead you home to you? What do you want at your core, when you close your eyes, when you are sitting there and you're envisioning what your life looks like 1 year down the road, 3 years down the road, 5 years down the road, what does it look like for you? Because your 3 to 5 year plan is going to look totally different than my 3 to 5 year plan. And I work with women who come from all walks of life. I work with women who have kids, women who don't have kids, women who have little kids, women who are like me and have kids at all stages of life and going down different paths. Like, we have to focus more on meeting people where they're at and helping lead them to their desires, because ultimately when we help people lead them to their desires, we end up getting what we want as well. And I look at recruiting. I hate the word recruiting, by the way. I like using the word sponsoring more, because there is a difference between recruiting and sponsoring. I feel like when you're recruiting, it's just a number, right? But when you're sponsoring, you have that mindset of developing that person. You're sponsoring that person to help them get what they want and lead them to their desires and get them what they ultimately want long term. So I always use the term sponsoring because I truly believe that it's on an individual basis, and you have to help the people who really want the help too. And you got to run with the runners, walk with the walkers. And you just always have to remind them, not necessarily of their why, because I feel like the whole remember your why or know your why, it's kind of getting overshadowed by different things because so many people use that. It's more of like a buzz phrase. So I always go towards, what is your bigger desire? What is your bigger vision? It's more personal. It's the thing that drove me to working my business and building it the way that I've built and helping other people build the way that they've built, because having a vision and having a deeper desire is so much more personal, and it's so much more connected than just having a why for your business. Because a why can be anything. My why could be, okay, well, I want to make more money. I want to help, more women make more money. I'm very big on helping women build financial independence. I see every single day women don't have their financial independence, and it's something that I love to see women have, is financial independence. But when you connect that, instead of just a why, and you connect it to a deeper desire and a deeper vision and a bigger vision that's much bigger than yourself, it becomes more of a movement, and it becomes more of a purpose, and it becomes more passionate, and it becomes more energetically aligned. So that's just kind of my little tidbit on the recruiting and sponsoring piece.
Yeah, absolutely. And if it's a mutually beneficial situation, there's nothing wrong with that. It's when people are like, okay, go to this event and get 10 people. It's like, those people aren't necessarily even in the market to do this. Like, it's not a warm body situation. At least it never was for me. Right. And I think it's interesting too. I have to say this, because should I say this? I have so much respect. My friends would like cringe because I have friends that are so anti MLM, but I have so much respect for the multi-level marketing situation. And yet I know that it's not on my path anymore. Right. Like, I think it's great. I love the way that it supports people, and I love the sisterhood it builds. And I also recognize that it's like, I think it's mostly because I've realized that I'm a hermit and I kind of like to keep to myself, and I'm not really a people person. When I would go to the big events, I kind of like hid. Like, I was this big leader with a team of 10,000, and I'd be like, hi, okay, I'm going back to my room, because I was an introvert. And so I think that, I'm not really built for that outgoing lifestyle. And yet I want to go on record and say that for those who it works for, oh, does it work? Oh, does it work? And can it be beautiful and fulfilling 1,000,000%? And I know lots of people who feel that way about it. Some of them aren't. Some of them are a little bit more, predatory or whatever. And we'll leave their names out of this, and you guys can go do your research on that. But you mentioned Bomb Party. I have a lot of clients who are in Bomb Party. I actually am wearing Bomb Party earrings right now. And I love that company. I think that it's great. And I think that the women who are in it, really enjoy it. And so I guess my question to you is, if people want to get a hold of you, if they want to join your team, if they, want to hear more about Bomb Party, or if they want to hear more about coaching, like, where do we send them? What do they do?
You can find me. All of my handles are Ashley Bendler. So ASHLEYBENDLER on Instagram and on Facebook. On TikTok, I am Rise Higher with Ashley. That's where I do all my Bomb Party things. But it is great. I I was with a makeup company previously, and it was a totally different culture, and it gave me the icky energy of network marketing. And then I found Bomb Party, and I was like, this just, I don't know, it felt different for me. And it's just a totally different way of doing business. And it's a different way of, in my opinion, it's totally different from a generalized network marketing business. We do a lot. When I look at numbers, I'm like, holy moly, we really do a lot here, and we have an amazing culture, and it's more focused on community building. And I love that, because it's not just trying to push a product down somebody's throat. It's not just, trying to convince somebody of something. It really is a sisterhood and a community of men and women, because there's men that do it too, which is a lot of fun. There's husband and wife teams, there's sister teams. Like, it really is more structured on building that community with people. And it definitely changed my mindset around the whole entire, network marketing industry, because I didn't have a good experience my first go around in a company. And now it's like it totally changed, and I wanted to create a different culture, and I wanted to create a different team environment for my team based off of my bad experiences. I wanted to take that, and instead of destroy my mindset around an industry, take all of those things that I did not like or that I seen were wrong within a previous company that I was with, take all of those things, turn it around, go a totally different approach to bringing a different culture to my team. So the way that I work my team and run my team is based basically around like masterminding almost. So I know a lot of times within the network marketing space, it gets icky with team chats and things like that. But our team chats are really, and the way that I structure things and work things is, you're more a part of a mastermind. So we're not just focused on developing a business or building a business. We're really focused on developing you as a person, what your wants are, what your needs are, what your desires are. How can I help you develop a skill set? How can I help you believe in yourself the way that I believe in you? How do I help you reprogram your mindset into learning and knowing that you get to have whatever it is that your heart desires with hustle, ease, and flow all in one? So that is what I love about the team culture that we have built. I've heard horror stories from other companies and horror stories from about other things, and I look back and I look at our team, and we have an amazing team of men and women on our team, and I'm like, wow, we really don't have these issues or the drama or the
Yeah.
pettiness that can go on,
Like my
right?
Facebook group, like there's so many groups that are like, we need so many admins because there's just so much drama. I'm like, my group is 8 years old. We've never had an issue. It's the energy. It's
Yes.
100% the energy. And if you hold that energetic container, it's such a difference because people just don't F with that. They just don't mess with that energy when it's there. It's like that container sets the tone. And so I love that, especially in network marketing. That's so huge because there's so much collusion. There's anger. There's trying to go get other people to be mad so that you can bring it to, there's influencing and there's all these different components to it. And she got different inventory than I did. And they get special treatment. And there's just so much. It's like high school all over again. And when you can nip that in the bud from the beginning, in fact, I think there's so much to be said about just coaching leaders in network marketing. Like, never mind people who are just trying to make it, but like how to be a good leader. And I think my clients who are leaders, in their own right, like I've seen them, they've just grown leaps and bounds from understanding what it's like to hold that energetic container and to model that for others. And so I love that you said that. That's so right on. Absolutely. I love that. Thank you so much, Ashley. You've been amazing. You guys definitely check her out, get in her world. If you are interested in Bomb Party and you want to learn about it, it reminds me of my favorite toy when I was little, the Magic Nursery baby, where you like put the diaper in water and it was like, it's a girl. Like, it was just like this. Oh yeah. Go look up the Magic Nursery babies and Magic Nursery pets. Like, literally it's like a throwback. And I was obsessed from the moment that it happened, and I spend way too much on Bomb Party, but I'm probably not the only one. So thank you so much, Ashley, for being here. It has been a tremendous pleasure. And I hope you guys will check her out on all the platforms. We will put all of her links into the show notes. And then you guys can go blow her up. Are you on Threads yet?
I am on Threads. I just started exploring that app. It's a lot of fun. I never had a Twitter.
Yeah, I didn't
So
either.
Threads is, I don't, it's kind of fun over there. I'm liking it. But yeah, so
We'll
it's
have to,
connected
we'll have
to
to connect
me.
on there.
Yes, it's connected to my Instagram. So I appreciate you for having me and reaching out. This has been so much fun. I love doing this and I love to bring more positivity to the multi-level marketing industry and community. So I'm so excited that you brought me on to do this. I love it. It's so fun.
Absolutely. And I have to say firsthand that you are definitely a magnetic goddess. So thank you so
Ah,
much for
thank
being
you.
here, Ashley.
I love the rebrand. It's amazing.
Oh my God, me too. Obsessed. Thank you so much. Everybody, for the rest of you, thank you so much for being here. We'll be back next week with another great guest. Until then, may you be happy, may you be healthy, may you be safe, and may you be at peace.